In my lifetime, I've always been taken aback, surprised, dumbfounded, aghast at the people who've tried to control me. I'll give you a couple examples. So I had a great aunt who she was schizophrenic, but she lived in the same town I went to college in, and whenever my dad came to town, we would go by, knock on her door, and visit with her. And I remember after going by, she liked the fact that my dad would come visit her. And he would never have done that if I hadn't been going to college in the same town. At one point, I remember my dad telling me, "Oh, you know what Lorene had to say about you today? She chewed me out about you." I'm like, "Really, Dad? What?" He's like, "Oh, she told me how I was wasting my money. Women didn't deserve to be educated, that I would never make anything of myself, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." I was like, "Oh, and she waited until I was outside to tell you all that? Interesting." So here's this woman I barely knew. She was much, much older than me. Um, Trying to take control of me by undermining my ability to get an education. Very interesting. But I had experienced uh, this kind of stuff most of my life. So, from my generation being female, there are a lot of things that weren't open to you and a lot of things you weren't supposed to be able to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, from our earliest days, we can have someone try to define our reality for us. It's shocking, absolutely shocking. Um, I digress. Let's do January 10th. Just know that if people can get away with it, there's some programming that they'd like to exert, brainwashing, brain control, mind control, they'd like to do from your earliest moments. Curious. That's what's happened to the gamer. They have fallen under some pretty serious mental control at the hands of total strangers. Why people do this, what they get out of it, oh my gosh, that's another chapter in a book. July 10th. As a result of our exposure to addiction, many of us lose perspective on who we are and what we can and cannot do. We accept ideas about our own limitations that have no basis in reality. Al-Anon helps us to sort out the truth from the falsehoods by encouraging us to take a fresh and objective look at ourselves. I had always been told that I had a weak constitution and I had to avoid excitement and overexertion. Believing this, I avoided exercise, sports, certain jobs, and even dancing, sure that my poor weak body couldn't handle the strain. My most frequent response to any invitation was, "I can't." In Al-Anon, I realized that I had a distorted self-image. I had never thought to question my beliefs, but when I took a good look, I discovered that they were untrue. I'm as fit as anyone I know. I began to wonder how many other false assumptions were limiting me. A whole new way of life opened up because I had the support and encouragement to take a fresh look at myself. Today's reminder: I won't let old limiting ideas and doubts go unchallenged. I may discover strengths and talents that never had the chance to come to light. Today, by letting go of obsolete ideas, I have an opportunity to learn something wonderful about myself. Here's the quote: "Argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they're yours." That's by a man named Richard Bach. This whole idea of playing in the sandbox, when you're in the sandbox, you got to be careful what you do with the sand. You can put it in people's eyes, blind them, get it in their mouths, their hair, make them really uncomfortable. So The sandbox is a place where you really have to consider others, and you have to have some control over what you do with your hands and what you do with the sand. Be careful who you get in the sandbox with. Be careful.